Welcome back to another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the prior videos, questions, and comments, and help you with your hut lineup decisions. Yesterday, we got Season 4, which saw the 94 overall Brady Tkachuk as the chase card, as well as the new 92 overall XP Path cards. And again, I want to say, I think those were actually pretty good. There's some interesting ones like Tom Wilson or Pionk. So just something to keep in mind. I think those cards are actually quite useful. I think they're kind of forgotten about because they're not like the hotness at the end, right? Also need to note, it looks like they sort of fixed the XP stuff at the beginning of the season. So they tried to make objectives end like 10 minutes early. Turns out if you just sat in the objective screen and didn't leave it, waited for the XP path to like release and then cash in your objectives, a bunch of people were able to fly through it. I hope they figure out a way to fix that. I think it just kind of ruins the whole point of it. But nonetheless, for everyone that was able to take advantage of it, good for you, I guess. That being said, let's get into today's questions and comments. We'll start with Jackpot. I have a take on the XP exchange. 85 plus choice pack for 10 collectibles seems to be the consensus pick, but I think the 82 plus for 2 collects is better value. You get to keep 5 cards instead of 1 for the same amount of collectibles, and if you hit 185 from the 5 choice packs, you've hit the same floor value. Anything above that, and you're laughing. I know it's anecdotal, but I had 5 yesterday and left with 187, 185, 284s, and 183, something to consider. I don't disagree with that. I think that when it comes to, like I always talk about, I'm always trying to be pretty risk averse when I recommend something to you guys, because I know a lot of you will just take what I say and then use that, and if it doesn't work out well over the long stretch, then that kind of sucks for you guys. So when I recommend one, it's usually, if you do this and you don't get even an 84, you've really hammered the value of what you can get, because while you got an 87 and an 85 and a couple 84s, there'll be a lot of people that just get 82s or 83s. And if you don't even get an 84, that's pretty tough. But I don't disagree with the 5 for 1 for sure. You just need one to make it out, right? So because it is 10 and it only costs you 2, you can do this pack 5 times. So that is something to consider. I think it'll take a week. I remember last time when the season came out, someone was doing the 77 and above or 75 and above, and they were broken because they were giving like 80 and above cards, which ended up being tremendous value for like 1 collectible. So something to consider. Just kind of wait it out. If you tried a different pack than the norm, so the 85 and above pack, let us know in the comments section. Right, as then we can try some different things out. But I don't disagree with your mentality or your thought process here. Hey, I was in Division 4 around and just after Christmas time. I've played the same way the whole time, i.e. strategies and gameplay. I have a pretty strong line, but can't seem to buy a win now. I went from Division 4 to now in Division 6 somehow, and always seem to be getting beat by teams with 85, 86, 87 cards. I don't understand what is going on. I took a break from the game for this reason, and I've come back and the same goes. Always getting beaten by lower cards to the puck, and ragdolled by players half the size. Any ideas how I can change it up and maybe get out of Division 6? If you were in Division 4 before Christmas time, dropping even 1 division, unless you're right on the cusp, like something's going on. I would, if you're not hardwired, I would hardwire a console and try that. Check your ping every game. Like if you're not plugged in directly with your controller, try that. You might be getting latency and stuff like that and not realizing it. Watch my strategies video again. I can guarantee you my strategies video, which I still use to this day, and all the same plays that I show in it, will get you to Division 2 if you do it exactly and you play enough. But it would be more than enough to get you into Division 4 and 3 at least. So let me know. Play a couple games, double check your ping, and plug everything in and see how that goes. Do you think the Speedsters event will be 88s or 89s? You're talking about the minimum? I think... Well, so I'm trying to think now. Sharpshooters is 91s, and Nations of Hockey was also 91s. So I have a feeling these ones will be 92 MSPs because we'll enter into a new month. It'll be like essentially March. If these trends continue, it would be 89 minimums is what they'll require. again, they could make some changes, but the last two events have been exactly the same. So we have to expect that there's a trend here at least in that 83s were required or 84s were required to enter into the event, and then you made 86 overall event items, not 86 overalls, and then you required 86 overall event items to make the 88 overall event items. I could see it going up +1 and being 85s, which would then, drastically increase the price of 85s. Again, I'm just going off of what they've done. They could completely change it up, but I would say it's probably 89s for the next one. Slaves, I don't understand how people can say they can't complete the XP path. Oh, this is going to be good. I started playing HUD again since like week 1 of the game, and playing just over a week, 2 to 3 hours a night, I completed the XP path. Note it being extended does help, but doesn't make sense how people say they can't complete it unless they aren't playing in any extra games after the XP is finished. Brother, 2 to 3 hours a night? I get 2 to 3 hours a day, and this is like my career, right? 2 to 3 hours a night, if you're a full-time employee and you got kids, like that's a luxury. That means you're sacrificing sleep. I think that it just comes down to not truly understanding what 80% of North Americans, probably, go through in terms of like you're being able to casually play a game. And the game should not be catered completely to the casuals, but it should definitely keep them in mind. I think this XP path for sure was the easiest, the Larkin one. And I think it is still easier than it was at the beginning of the game. I don't even know if they should lower it or make it more accessible. But if you focus on the XP objective path, even if you play an hour a night or 5 hours in a week, you should be able to get it done. And if you're not, I'd be curious what you're playing. It might be that you're just playing offline squad battles and not playing on a hard enough difficulty, which might be, just not, in your range of outcome. So, but 2 to 3 hours a night is a lot. And that might not sound like a lot to some of you guys, but again, man, like I get like roughly like 3 to 4 hours a day to play. And it's like my whole career, because the other time I'm making videos, I'm, doing other stuff other than just playing. So it's tough to get that much. And if you can get that much, enjoy it now. Embrace that. For the life of me, why do they make these objectives so boring? XP based would be so much more fun and would encourage people to try new things, like theme teams, young players, veteran players, synergies, offensive, defensive players. It's endless. Could probably come up with more if I really put more thought into it. But hey, it's not like the devs have much time on their hands to think things like this. Taking 75 toe drag shots or scoring 150 goals isn't fun. At least it's my opinion. 100%. This is a tech-based thing. Like, I don't think I don't think they've developed the objectives being turned into XP yet. That would probably take a whole dev cycle of them like creating that. But I think it's definitely one of the things that they need to do over the life cycle of one of the games. Like the objective stuff, if you go back to like the earlier NHL, so like NHL 21 or 22 was the last year where the objectives were literally just play games with those cards, event cards. Awful. And then objectives, I think they called it objectives 1.0 and 2.0 came out, where they could track goals, and then goals with specific cards and card types and player types, which was a massive thing. But it's obviously come to a point now where it's like, okay, that was an improvement over what we had, but it doesn't solve the problem of just pure boredom of doing mindless objectives. And what's crazy is that I'm trying to think about this, because in other games, you play World of Warcraft, for example, or any other game like that, you'll mindlessly grind out, something. Like, dude, anyone that played RuneScape in the 90s and early 2000s, bro, you'd chop trees for 4 hours to get your wood cutting up or your fire making skill up. And it's like, for whatever reason, that was more enjoyable than this. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to fix it. I think if they can make the tech available and make objectives XP. So what I mean by this, guys, for anyone that hasn't been watching any of the episodes or videos and heard my take on it. So an event comes out and it's like score 50 goals with sharpshooter cards. Instead, it would be get 10,000 XP with sharpshooter cards. What that allows is that every hit, shot, goal, There's a modifier for playing online, just like there is the normal XP path. So you can do that stuff online. And what that allows you to do, play the way you want, which I've been saying for this entire year. Their model or their motto was play the way you want in Hut. And for the first week, it technically was that. The rewards were awful and it was whatever. But at the end of the day, I talked about this in the last video. Technically, the only rewards were the XP path and they were awful. But that was it, right? You didn't have to play squad battles at all or do those monotonous grinds, right? So I hope that's a focus of theirs, because if we get 2 more years of these objective things and they ignore the XP based stuff, like it's going to be brutal. Like it'll be bad. And, we'll see. Mystery says, hey, Sleeves, I have a very hard decision to make on my lineup. What can I do to improve and have the best players with each other without having the best players in the same line? Marner Fantasy, Suzuki, McDavid team of the season, McKinnon team of the season, base Zetterberg, Larkin. I'm assuming you mean Titan Zetterberg. Larkin, Stone, Miller, Kucherov. I mean, your lineup is pretty set. I would flip McKinnon and Marner, but I'm assuming you don't want the best players on all in one line. In terms of your defense, you've got Ekblad, Montour, Blake, Taves, Hedman, Wallman. What should I upgrade, move around? Keep doing what you do. I love watching the video. So what I would recommend is your right-handed wingers are pretty set. So it wouldn't be even make Nylander. I wish you could make old event items. You would benefit a lot from, I think, from Rantanen or a defenseman. It's probably a defenseman. Like, I would focus on making the right-handed defenseman is Pionk. Pionk would probably be your best defenseman, the 92. And then Bouchard probably would be another option from the sharpshooter event. Wait till week 2 and see who comes out from week 2, the sharpshooter event, but it's defense, I think, is where I'd put the focus. Is the new X Factor series coming soon? So I was thinking about this. I didn't think the PWHL release was season 2 of the X Factors. I think now we have to just accept that it was. So unless they scrapped it entirely and they named it Series 1 and they're just leaving it, or I don't know what else it could be. If you go based on timing, so game was launched in October, all of November, that's 2 months. Beginning of December, like middle of December, I think the PWHL was released. So let's call it 3 months, right? PWHL came out, new X Factors. Then you've got January, February, March, into March. That would be the cycle for the next release, right? Because if the PWHL wasn't included and that's not Series 2, then we've gone October, November, December, January, February, 5 months, which, like, there's not, unless they're only doing 2, right? And then it's every 6 months. I don't understand the cadence of it. I think that they rug pulled and changed their idea on X Factors. They just didn't like them, and they didn't like that everyone complained about the grind and the McDavid Team of the Year nonsense. I think that they maybe just bailed out on them. I don't know. I played Hut from 2014 to 2020. Took a break until late this year, about 3 weeks ago. Not too bad. I see more free stuff. It's cool. 100%. Like, you could easily make a free-to-play, no money spent team quite easily this year. It's something that's kind of overlooked because progression is so slow, and just they do give out quite a bit of stuff, right? I think we want packs instead of, like, guaranteed. Like, we want packs instead of, like, the marginally better card for free, I think. But definitely, yeah, if you haven't played since NHL 20, for sure, because 22 was probably the first sign of, like, a major increase in, like, good content. So in response to different overall card and their values, 84s, 85, 86s, etc., something changed in the content team from start of the year. We had the Supernatural and Off the Charts events, which required tokens to upgrade. Then tokens were made by trading in different overall cards. Since the World Wildcard issue and with upgradable cards, since the WC issue with upgradable cards, they switched to this format of sets and haven't looked back. That's what ruined the market. Shirley would love to hear your take. Someone replied saying his take is going to be a repeat of the content team changing stuff for the sake of changing things. I think, like, their philosophy Like, that's what changed. They wanted you to be exactly like Madden. Like, this is a lot like Madden, where it's like 84s, 284s turn into an 85, and like there's a clear path, right? But they're like missing a big chunk. When they went to the 86 event items and not 86 overall and above, that's what tanked the market. But I don't know why they just randomly went away from the token system to the just overall system. It really limits the way that they can deliver content, and it destroys a lot of the market. How did someone get a 99 Pareko? I was facing them, and that was their top player from the fantasy event. I have Pareko. The fantasy event is early on in the year every year. It's one of the best events. EA has no control over how quickly the cards go up. Every time they score in real life, they get +1. Pareko scored enough early on to hit 99. Sorelli as well as 99. Megan Keller is close. Now EA is in the soft era where everyone needs to win. We need to bring back rewarding winning and not cry because you're not getting the same as other people. We're in the EA is the soft era where everyone needs to win. If everyone needs to win, wouldn't that be a harder era? I don't disagree that they need to reward winning more, but if you think about it, the best pack that you can earn is by getting 30 Rivals wins. I think that they need to make Hut Champs a token system. Like, every win in Hut Champs should matter, and it simply doesn't because you're just getting a different spin of the pack pull or the pack wheel, right? If you got a token like last year, so 14 wins is X amount, 15 wins is one more, then that makes every win matter more. Yeah, I don't know. I like, winning is more important than it was in prior years, right? Because it drastically reduces the time required. Next year, want to bet a selling point will be more customizable stuff in Hut, like pads. Bro, if that's a selling point, I don't care. Like, the customizable stuff, or like the goalie helmets that just came out. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for like the immersion of it. I hope that we see more of it. I feel like it's a perfect game to give us the goalies exact like helmets. Like, that's there's so many of the nerds of us out there that would love that. I loved that they did it. It was so random. And the 8 they chose wasn't exactly super, like, all of them weren't super popular. So I'm curious in that. I hope they do more of it. Oh my God. You're such a rat, dude, to sit here and pretend like you are not in on this crap storm of a game every year. You clearly have the power with the other no life changers because you guys are scared to find real work legit. I don't know what you mean by that, dude. I don't know what you're upset about. I would love for you to expand on what you don't like that I'm doing. I am critical of the game. They won't talk to me anymore because of how critical I was of the game. And every interaction or in every activation I do with EA is very sparing. And honestly, like the Team of the Year event, the video I did with Corwin for it, I want to hype up Team of the Year because I think it's good for the game. It's a very fun event. It's the one everyone pays attention to. And then recently with the Four Nations thing, they came to me and said, hey, we want to give stuff away to you and your following. Yeah, sign me up for that, you know? So, am I scared to find real work? Brother, I'm 35. I spent 15 years working a normal job, dude. Don't tell me I burned the boats, dog. Like, I know what that's like going back in a real job. That's why I bust my ass. Playing video games, but I meant the stuff in the background, the hours of editing and all of that. I hope you find happiness and expand on why you're so upset, though. Paige Shills. What a funny tag right after. Hut Champs rewards are the worst part of the game this year, in my opinion. Champs is the only mode I really like to play, but it takes a lot of fun out of knowing that I'm just getting a 90 Kaprizov who doesn't fit my team, and I'll just get used as fodder. Really hope they go back to collectibles. It's so funny because guaranteed cards are something that needs to be in the game. We've said that for years. If you go back and check the tape and all the comments, guaranteed cards are needed. But it's like that same thing what I was talking about with like one-timers. One-timers needed to be back in the game because if Ovechkin can haul off a one-timer and the goalie would just stop it because of the animations in the last 2 games, that's a mess. One-timer should be back in the game. Should you be able to huck it in from the point with a 75 overall defenseman because you greened up a one-timer? No, that shouldn't be in the game. Much like Hut Champs rewards. Guaranteed rewards. We needed those. Yes. The collectible system, however, eliminates the issues of everything else where you can then go back. If you go look at the pack rewards from NHL 24, if anyone hasn't done this, go back into HUD Champs, look at what the sets were. It was awesome. You got to pick the packs. You got a bunch of them. If you got to 10, 12 wins, you were able to do a bunch of packs, and it was a much more enjoyable experience in my opinion. That being said, that's going to do it for this episode of Who Should You Choose? Wednesday, we've got more content coming from the team of the week and all of that stuff. So be sure to tune in. I'll have a video recapping it all. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.